My whole idea was to get into media, and at that point of time, India was just getting into cable. Foreign channels were coming in, and everybody was completely starry-eyed. I fought with the Warner
Okay.
Brothers guys. I said, "Means
Hmm.
I come all the way for this internship to learn something from you guys, okay, but it's not going to help us in any way." And I think that those
Hmm.
3 4 months was the best production learning I ever had. I was working on
Hmm.
Kaun Banega Crorepati to Nat Geo to Star Movies to Star World. And that gave a lot of experience because the amount of work used to happen in the channels at that point of time. The kind of churning of creatives used
Hmm.
to happen on a regular basis, or like 30 creatives a week. This year, we got nominated at Cannes for the best fiction series Diversify Award, which is
Wow.
happening in exactly 10 days in France. People in metros are the
Hmm.
worst people you'll ever meet because they're not loyal. They are not loyal viewers. There's so much of content out there, good content out there, and people have so much of choice.
Hmm.
It's like a buffet. There's so much of food there.
Right.
They
Okay.
don't have to worry about one or two. Next
Okay.
time you go to a theater, sit down and watch the end credit, and you'll see some Ashok, some
I will. I
Rashid is
will.
sitting there, and they're doing it. And I always sit down and I feel very
We will.
proud that, oh
For sure.
yes, all Chennai boys are doing it. Go and make content, edit it
Hmm.
yourself, publish it on YouTube, which is a distribution channel.
Hello, everyone. So today we have Abid with us. Abid is the founder and CEO of Creative Stew, a content company known for producing innovative media across Southeast Asia. With over 2 decades of experiences in the industry, he has worked with major players like Fox, Sony, Star India, shaping the future of media and storytelling.
I'm so glad that we are having this conversation.
Wonderful. So, now this is free flow of information for all our audience and at a certain level for me as well. Now, I get to learn so much from these conversations. So, kind of, as I said, it's free flow of information where it's more catered towards your journey. That how did you progress in your career and how did you create, business in the media industry. So, let's get started.
Yeah, so
Now,
before we do
yeah,
that,
please.
just a
Since I
little bit
think,
of background of who Abid is and what Abid has been doing and what these 2 decades have been for
absolutely.
Abid. I was born and raised in Lucknow in India, and I did my undergraduation in
Mhm.
Lucknow University, and it was
Wow.
completely different to what
Wow.
I am doing right now. I did an English literature and tourism management. So after my undergrads, I
Oh,
always wanted means my inclination was always towards media, and I was a part-time photographer when I was growing up in Lucknow. I was just making portfolios of my friends, on film camera, not digital at that point of time. And this is I'm
wow.
talking about
Right.
93, 94 year, 1993, 1994. And while doing that, I was also working part time as a sales guy in some electronics shop in Lucknow. But my whole idea was to get into media, and at that point of time, India was just getting into cable. Foreign channels were coming in, and everybody was completely starry eyed at that point of time. Channel V was there, and MTV was there, and CNN was there, and but even then there was no local programming at that point of time. But as a youngster in India at that point of time, it was very exciting to see what all foreign content was being shown in
Mm.
India. So my focus was always to get into media. But how to get into media? Because either you go to FTII in Pune, and you're fighting with the big guys, and very limited seats, or you go to a film
Right.
school if you can afford abroad and learn
Mm.
about media. So I started sending my CV and essays and to all over the world, to all the big universities, to all the big film schools. And although my father means we come from a very modest family, uh, father was a
Mhm.
doctor in a government hospital, but he always backed me in whatever I wanted to do. He wanted me to become a doctor in the first place, but I said, I think, but a doctor.
Okay.
I don't want to become a doctor. So he said, what next? So I said, and he was also a film buff like me. So I said, I want to get into media, I want to get into television,
Okay.
I want to get into films. He said that,
Mm.
what are your options? That is up to you. You do your homework. You tell me what you want to do. So that's
Mm.
when I did my research and everything. I came up with, okay, this is a university in Australia. I want to go there because they have a tie-up with Warner Brothers Studios in Gold Coast in Australia, and their course structure is really good.
Mm.
You just pay me for one semester. The rest I will once I go there, I'll try to figure things out.
Mm.
So I said, okay. So he, from all his
Okay.
saving, he sent me to Australia to do my masters in film and television. So I landed
Wow.
up in the year 1998 in Gold Coast, Australia. You from Lucknow directly to
Mhm.
Gold Coast, Australia. The kind of cultural shock, kind of, you know, all shocked and everything. But the thing was, I in Australia, it was I thought that I had just got into where I really wanted to go because just my
Mm.
classmates, the kind of co-structure was there. I thought I was just ready for that. So I was watching films, I was debating
Mm.
films, and by second semester I had figured out to work in restaurants to earn my rent money and food money and doing dishwashing jobs and doing waiting jobs and that means part of growing up. I think masters was obviously the reason I was there, but I think that made a small town boy into a man at that point of time. Uh, I did
Mm.
pretty well in my academics there because, again, it was not medical education. It was something which I really wanted to study. Yeah. And
Something
I
you loved.
was
Right.
very fortunate that I fought my way into getting the internship because I did not read the fine prints of internship at Warner Brothers that they only give it to Australians. So they didn't give it to any foreign
Oh.
student. So I fought with the Warner
Okay.
Brothers guys. I said, listen, means
Mm.
I come all the way for this internship to learn something from you guys. Okay, but it's not going to help us in any way. Even if you do your internship, how is it going to benefit Australia? But it's going to benefit the university because
Mm.
your students are going to be, you know, uh, more students will come because of they know that the outside students are
Right.
also getting internship. Finally, I got my internship, so I started working on
Mm.
an American production called Flipper. It's
Wow.
the Dolphin TV show, and because they were shooting, the American crew was there because they
Mm.
had Sea World where they had dolphins in the theme park, and they were shooting there. And I think that those
Mm.
3 4 months was the best production learning I ever had. And then I finished my degree. I came back to India. I hated it, but then suddenly I said, you know what? Let me try it out here. And I got my first job at Channel V,
Mm.
which I always wanted to work in Channel
Okay.
V because my love for music and the love for the
Mm.
pop art and pop culture which Channel V stood for. And I thought, wow,
Mm.
first job I'm getting at Channel V. I was literally living in the studio, basically living in the office. So this was in
Mm.
the year 2000.
Okay.
I started off, so for one and a
Mhm.
half years I was working in Channel V. And then I moved to Star India because
Okay.
I got, the head of
Mm.
Star India at that point, programming head, Mr. Sameer Nair, who's now heading Applause in India, which does Scam and, all the big shows. So he said, why don't you come in and work
Mm.
for us at Star India? So I said, okay. So I was hired for the
Okay.
job of a promo producer in Star India or in the year 2001. And until 2003, I was working
Mm.
there and I was working with the whole Star TV network at that point of time, which is now Disney Hotstar. So I was working on
Mm.
Kaun Banega Crorepati to Nat Geo to Star Movies to Star World, and that gave a lot of experience because the amount of work used to happen in the channels at that point of time. The kind of churning of creatives used to
Mm.
happen on a regular basis, were like 30 creatives a week, and that was basically my training. Everybody else was getting really bogged down. Oh, so much of work and so much of pressure. And I thought that it's
Mm.
God given that you're given an opportunity to work with such
Opportunity,
great,
right?
first of all, mentors as well as colleagues who were pushing you in the right direction. It was, yes, I didn't have any
Right.
responsibility at that point in time. So it was like, this is it. Means you're working with one of the best, means number one channel in India. Uh, the kind of content they're making is like a big Bachchan fan. I'm able to do 180
Mhm.
episodes of Kaun Banega Crorepati. Who can, means when the credit
Wow.
used to come at the end of Kaun Banega Crorepati, means half of the Lucknow used to be very proud of me. They were more proud with that. So
I
I
understand.
think from there, I think 2 years of rigorous work at Channel V, at Star TV, basically got me headhunted to Sony in Singapore. So Sony International
Hmm.
Television, which has channels like AXN and Animax, uh, hired me and brought me to Singapore. And again, that's another kind of learning where I have to unlearn the unhealthy ways of working to healthy ways of working.
Right.
And that's where, we did some great stuff. I always take care of the South Asia feed of AXN. And then we launched the anime channel called
Hmm.
Animax for South Asia. And I was very fortunate to work here. The brand ambassador at that point in time was from Pathan. And yeah, so that was good fun launching the
Oh.
channel in India. And after 2 years there, I got headhunted again for a new network which was being set up in Indonesia called Astro. Astro is a Malaysian company,
Hmm.
but it was starting Indonesian branch of the network. And I got headhunted and brought to Jakarta, which at that point in time I didn't know anything about Jakarta. But it started from scratch. We set up the network, hired the team, trained the team, and we set the network. And in 2007, after doing the whole Indonesia venture, I said, I think I'm ready to move to the headquarters of Astro in Malaysia in 2007. And I moved
Hmm.
to Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia in 2007. Same company. Again, I was very fortunate to launch around 15 channels for the network, local language channels and different genre channels. And in 2000, I was there till 2012, set up the whole team, set up the whole post production facilities. And in 2012, I started my outfit called Creators 2, which is still going on with the grace of God. And we have been very fortunate to work with all the big players in the industry, from Netflix to Amazon to HBO to Disney, Nat Geo, you name it, and we have worked with them. And we were very, very fortunate that so far we've managed to create some great stuff, which is fiction, non-fiction, scripted, commissioned, branded content. And yeah, and as luck had it, this year we got nominated at Cannes for the best fiction series. Diversify Award, which is
Wow.
happening in exactly 10 days in France. So that has been my journey.
Wow.
And I was very fortunate to work with some great names. I was very fortunate to have some amazing colleagues and technicians who really helped deliver the best there is in the industry. So that was my 24 years of years.
Amazing. I wonder how what kind of doctor you have been.
Seriously speaking, recently I was in Lucknow and I took my mom for a checkup. And, well, every checkup we had to wait for like 3 hours and 4 hours. And my mom said, if you would have been a doctor, you wouldn't have been for this long. So I think,
Don't.
Mom, that's the regret I have.
For Indian parents, if you are not an engineer or not a doctor, you are still a failure. Whatever you're doing in life,
Yes,
you've not
yes.
made it.
But I think they understand that but the situation at this point in time, what is happening in the medical scenario, I think I made the right decision.
Absolutely, absolutely. And seeing your career trajectory, you've worked really, really well. I mean, with some of the leading production house companies in the industry, and now you have your own company. So and you're doing amazing in that structure as well. So I think awesome trajectory, and I mean very interesting, right? So now I have few questions, right? As I was listening to your story, and kind of because content creation, film industry, OTT platform, now it has been such a wide, I mean, area of discussion that we can go for hours on this. But I'll try to now stick to few pointers here. Like, I saw that you were creating like uh, promo for like Star India, right? Now, before we jump into the question, I have a perspective. Okay, tell me if I'm wrong because you were the expert here. So the most of the movies we see, most of the films we see across the globe, whether it's Hollywood or Bollywood or regional in India, I see there are like seven frameworks for it. Right. First, there's a character. Right. Either it's a hero or actor, actress. Right. They have a problem in life. Right. They meet a mentor, a friend. Right. The friend gives them the basically kind of action plan or action solution, call to action, that is, I mean, fourth, I mean, fifth is like call to action. Now what they do is that call to action avoid them having a problem, and seventh is basically that leads them to success. So I see that most of the movies has been around this seven framework, and greater the problem in life of that character, greater is the hook for the audience, right? So we are very curious that how this character or hero or heroine is going to actually solve that problem, right? And we are more hooked towards that problem, right? So this is how, I mean, the story we see around the globe. Now, when you create this promo, how do you basically not get the hook for the audience, right? Because you're creating promo for such a large audience in India, right? I mean, we are such a huge audience who actually watch this television, like, so I mean, Star India or Sony, right? What was your approach in creating the promo which can hit the such a large audience?
See, it's a very good question, by the way. And just to let you know, just a little bit, I'm diverging from it. It's always a hero's journey.
Uh-huh.
When you talked about the seven, different parts we talk about, it's basically a
Right.
hero's journey where it's constructed into three different frameworks. Means, means you have
Okay.
three stages. One is the establishment, second is the problem,
Mhm.
and third is the conclusion. That is where you start. In all the
Right.
stories are hero's journey. Everyone wants to see the progression of
Right.
the hero and want to see him win or
Right.
lose for that matter, or
Mm.
some other hero comes in between. But from a promos are
Right.
30 seconds. You have to tell. It's a very difficult job.
Mm.
It's in 30 seconds to 1 minute you have to tell the story. In the 30 seconds to 1 minute where
Mm.
you have to hook your audience and also diverge the
Right.
information. So
Right.
those
Exactly.
are very key points. So first of all, say
Mm.
from and also brand it because again, you can talk. Let's say for example, Cormorant Crorepati. Okay, you have to tell them
Mm.
which
Mm.
day it's coming, what time is it coming, what will be there in that episode,
Right.
and in the end, you have to
Mm.
revisit. Okay, Cormorant Crorepati, 9 baje on Star Plus. You have to reinforce that thing so people
Right.
don't forget it because it's just 30
Right.
seconds.
Mm.
To to construct that 30 seconds is a hell of a job because you have to pick up the
Mm.
best lines of Mr. Bachchan. You have to pick up the
Right.
best,
Right.
line from the contestant or from the audience to make it
Right.
sound very,
Right.
exciting. That this episode is really exciting, and
Mm.
also you have to leave a hook also.
Right.
So you and in the
Right.
end, before it ends, you say, "तो 50 लाख के लिए आपके लिए अगला सवाल." So the hook,
Mm. Right.
the excitement is there.
Right.
Everybody is like, "Oh wow, this week somebody is reaching 50 lakhs." So
50
that
lakhs.
is
Right.
what promo is all about. You excite, you basically educate, and you brand. So these 3 to 4 things are always
Right.
there. And how you do it, there are a million ways to skin the cat.
Mm.
You do it in a humorous way. You do it
Yes.
in a very dramatic way. You do it in a very casual way. You do it in a very formal way. And I was very lucky that every week on week, I was getting this to do it. And I was really excited to do a KBC promo. But same thing happens with the movies. I mean, I did a campaign for Dil Chahta Hai. Say, for
Right.
example, we did that. Uh, it was a different thing. Every dialogue is a promo in Dil Chahta Hai. So you can have the Amir's line, or you can have Saif's line, or a little bit of some, the background, the music. The songs are also very good of the film. You have to promote that. So it's very artistic, and I think the editors play a very good role where they help a lot in your vision to make it look snappy, make it look really exciting, and basically when you are doing promos, editor is your best friend. So that's how they bring in their expertise to deliver your vision. So the promos are like,
Right.
and with
Understood.
long form, say for example, a TV show, a drama, again, the three-part structure of the story is where you break it down. Say for example, if you have a 13-part series, how you are taking it, how you're hanging in the end so that the audiences can go to the next episode. If you want to tell everything in the first episode, nobody's going to go and see the second episode. We keep on hanging, we
Right.
keep on giving them
Right.
the cliffhanger, and that's how you can hook the audiences all across, and they can finish series. If it's on a weekly basis or if it's on a binge-worthy way, then they you have to hook it up in such a way that they sit down in one shot, 8 hours or 10 hours are gone.
Absolutely. With all this hook, actually, while we see on the TV, while we see in the promo, the same thing has been carried to the social media as well, right? People have started creating those short clips to get the attention of
Yep.
their audiences, because now the attention span has gone really, really down, right? People really want the quick thing, right? They don't want to stick to at least for 10 minutes, right? Until there's something that keeps them hooked for that 10 minutes, right? So, yeah, perfect. So, got it. Understood, right? I mean, you have worked with big companies like Fox, Star, right? So, basically, I used to watch a lot of television shows in Star India. No, growing up, we have all seen that, right? In Sony, we used to have those Mahabharat, Ramayana, and all. I mean, we used to watch with all the entire family actually. Just wanted to understand, like, as an outsider, how it was for you to work with these companies. What was the major differences when you worked for like Sony, then Star India? How was
See,
the
each
different?
network has got a different culture altogether. I can only talk about the places I have worked with. I worked with Star India, which
Right.
is part of Fox at that point in time, News Corp.
Mm.
And then Sony Singapore is a different company altogether. Then Astro, Malaysian company, is a completely different.
Right.
And they have their different goals. Where, see, with Star
Mm.
slash Fox, their goal was to make the top 50 shows, all their own shows. Huh? And I was fortunate to see
Mm.
that happening when I was working there. So everyone was working towards that
Mm.
goal that when the ratings come out, top 50 shows out of 50 shows should be of Star. And that happened.
Mm.
That happened because of the leadership. That happened because of the kind of people
Right.
working at during that time. I'm talking about 2001 to 2003. And that time, you should look at the
Mm.
ratings. 50 out of 50 shows were of Star. One or two every once or twice a
Mm.
week used to change from Sony or Z. But but that is the kind of drive which was there at Star, that everyone was working. Every
Mm.
Thursday, the fate of the company was decided, how the next week is going to be. Is to an extent that I have seen, and this was the time when Kahani Ghar Ghar Ki and Kyunki Saas Ki Bahu Thi
Right.
and this was the big trifecta of started with
Mm.
Kasoti, Then he go to
The
KBC,
sorting.
Converter Crorepati. Then he used to go to Kahani Ghar Ghar Ki, and then used to be uh, what was that Mihir Vidani show? क्योंकि सास भी कहीं वो थी. So these four shows were like the holy grail. It was like treated as the most sacred part of Star. So there have been means I'm talking about how driven a network can be. Is there was a time when Kasauti's viewership declined by 0.2% in Calcutta. Overnight,
Okay.
Bengali promos were made and was put in the Cable Wala's network to regain that 0.2%
Okay.
so that we can make it to the ratings which has fallen for some reason or the other. That is the kind of madness a network can bring. But from then, if you go to a foreign network, it's a completely different story. They are not as as mad as networks in India, because in India competition is
Because of the competition? Do you mean because
see,
this is
because
because of the
again the thing
competition?
is everything is
Oh,
rated on
okay.
at that point of time, everything was dependent on the ratings. And ratings are tied to advertising
Hmm.
dollars. So that
Got
means
it. Right.
imagine an advertiser putting a 20-second commercial, as in ad, in the break
Hmm.
of Kaun Banega Crorepati was decided by how many viewers are watching your show. So that was the reason why
Hmm.
it was so always was so driven, ratings driven. And I think that brought the best out
Right.
of all of us who were working. And I think that that also goes to say that they were number one for the same reasons why they were number one, because they were pushing so hard.
Hmm.
I'm not saying it's the best way to do it or the right way to do it, but again, that's how the going back to your question, uh, every company has got their
Hmm.
different focus. Some has got more viewership,
Right.
some has got getting more advertising,
Hmm.
some has got good programming, some has got more subscription.
Hmm.
Now you're talking about more eyeballs. So um,
Right.
because the pie of viewership is so divided now that everybody's buying in for
Hmm.
more viewership. So or subscription for that matter.
Right.
So that is one of the reasons why Netflix is they're
Hmm.
selling it for $150 or whatever the price is, and Prime is giving
Right.
away membership for X amount of dollars, because there is such a huge market,
Right.
and they don't want to miss out on big pie.
Hmm.
That's the
Right.
reason. So
Right.
every network has got their own focus. Every network has got their own working culture,
Hmm.
and I think that is what drives them.
Right. Uh, can we come to like OTT platform? I mean, can we discuss on that? Okay, perfect. So I have a data which I want to share with you. Now, across the globe, we are more than 7 billion people, right? So it is projected that by end of 2024, there will be 49% of the total population, if we consider everyone watching the media show, the television show, right? We're not taking outliers. So if we consider that there are 3.5 billion people will be shifting to OTT. And if we see for the commercial part, there's a data as well. I'll just quote here. So there's the commercial shifting to OTT platform, and they have said that they have got a 90% completion rate at the OTT. So the thing is, I want to understand like what is that OTT as OTT platforms are doing right, and how do you see traditional TV? Because we have been growing up watching those traditional TVs, right? Traditional shows, and now OTT has taken over. So what do you think? What OTT is doing right? Platform is doing right, and what is happening with traditional TVs?
Sure.
If we can talk on
I'm
both
not going to
aspects.
talk about the 7 billion people. I'm only going to talk about India.
I mean, that was
I'm
the
going to talk
projected
about
number. Yeah, I
India.
mean,
Tell me how much is the
yeah.
penetration of OTT in India is. Can you give me a number to that?
I have no
14%.
idea about the number.
14%.
14%.
I'm talking
Okay.
about 86% is still, people are still watching traditional television. Look at somebody, say for example, Maze, for the lack of better word, place like Khalilabad or Asti in North India.
Mm.
Do you think they go and watch Netflix? They watch Anupama.
No.
They
No.
watch, CID.
Mm.
They like that kind of show. Ask them, have they seen Hira Mandi? They say, what is Hira Mandi? And
Mm.
I'm just talking about, and it's a global thing. Majority of viewership is happening on traditional television. We all thought that traditional television is going to take a nosedive. It has not. Advertisers are still
Mm.
putting money. The reason why, because of the scale of how much the penetration of traditional television is there in heartland, in the villages, in small places.
Mhm.
So advertisers get a bang for their buck. Say, for example, take
Mm.
Doordarshan. Doordarshan ads can be seen in any remote corner in India. Whereas, first of all,
Right.
means there are thing called now fast channels are coming. Basically,
Mhm.
all these OTT platforms are becoming like traditional TV because they can't generate that kind
Okay.
of revenue as traditional TV. So they have started getting a uh, you know ad supported tier. So if you buy that fast package
Uh-huh.
from Netflix or from Prime, uh, people are not worried about watching more ads if they have to give less subscription number. Last year, not even last
Mm.
year, I think the last quarter, Prime Video generated around $80 million on fast channels by putting advertisement
Okay.
on Amazon Prime Video. And that is the way to go now
Uh-huh.
because even OTT is feeling the pinch. With Netflix, there was a time when, okay, they still are number one, by the way, where subscription is concerned. They shut
Right.
down all the password sharing thing that increased their revenue as in
Mhm.
subscription work. But now they've it's the threshold.
Right.
There's no growth happening after that.
Mm.
No
Threshold in terms
prescription.
of content?
There'll never be threshold of
Subscription.
content. There
Okay.
will be always demand for new content.
Mm.
Subscription. So earlier it was okay, you can share
Mm.
your password with your family members and friends and all that. Then they realized, oh, because of that, nobody's taking new subscription. So they shut that off. And
Mm.
once they shut that off, the subscription growth grew higher and higher. Now they've got to a stagnant situation where there's no growth. I'm talking about the next quarter results when they're going to come up. There's not
Mhm.
going to be tremendous subscription growth. And that is when they have already
Mhm.
planned for the ad supported subscription. Once that comes in, they're going to make money out of
Okay.
uh, advertisers, which they have been holding back for the longest time.
Mm.
So that is where
Right.
I'm just talking about India. Globally,
Mhm.
majority is like this because traditional TV is not going to go anywhere.
Well, I have slightly a different perspective here because I understand that majority of the people are in India, especially they are still in remote locations. Remote, as in like I mean, not in urban. I mean, they don't have a lot of urban infrastructure, right? And so having subscription based model for OTT and would be different or difficult for them in these remote locations in India. But I believe that when it comes to people who are in 20s, right, early 30s like me. So when I talk to these people, like out of 10 people, there are 6 people who say that they don't watch TV anymore. So either they are watching in the laptop, they have like Amazon Prime or Netflix, and I'm talking across. I hardly found anyone who's saying that I still watch television, right? Proper television. Either it's in either the sports or the OTT platform, right? So in form of ads, I'm not sure how much TVs are owning, right? Because I believe that still, because majority consumer in India is the young crowd, I believe, and majority of our population, still 49 to 50% of our population are youth, right? So in that term, if you can also tell us like uh, how the ads are being distributed to the TV and to these OTT platforms, and what are the, I would say, monetary
See, I
aspect
don't
of
have
it if we can
numbers
offer it
to
up.
means to back whatever I've read
Yeah,
and
yeah, I
whatever
mean,
is
just the
happening at this
perspective.
point in time, and I'm pretty much clued into what the industry is on the threshold of change. That much I know. See, for
Uh-huh.
example, okay, Mihir gets a Netflix subscription, but Family Man is on
Uh-huh.
Prime. Then House of Dragon comes on HBO Max. Then Scam comes on
Mm.
Sony Live. Then
Mm.
there's Manoj Bajpayee's Joram coming on Z5. Then there is a
Right.
new Star Wars movie coming on Disney Plus. So at this
Mm.
point in time, 10 different subscription, which will cost you
Right.
around
That's a
150
problem.
bucks to 200 bucks minimum.
Right.
How much are you going to
Mm.
subscribe for each?
Yeah,
Exactly.
not more than two, for sure.
What will happen is either, see, nowadays, I'm just talking about people living in metros. People in metros are the
Mm.
worst people you'll ever meet because they're not loyal. They are not loyal viewers. Loyal
Right.
viewers are the people who
Right.
switch on TV at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock to watch their favorite drama, which one is Z or Star.
Mm. Agreed.
Those are the people for which the
Agreed.
advertisers will go with his head down and spend money to get their attention. Because those are your consumers. Those are the people who will go and buy your product. Not the guy who's working in a
Mm. Got
fancy
it.
office in BKC in Bombay, who drives a nice car, who
Mm.
lives in a great condo, who basically, for him, television it doesn't matter anyways. उसको देखना होगा, he'll either go
Right.
spend a little bit of money and go and watch it in the theater, or say, for example, uh, means I'm including myself. If there's a series which I really
Mm.
want to watch, I'll pay for that month, watch all the stuff on that, and disconnect. So the loyalty goes out of the window. Is basically you put a great content on any platform at this point of time, it will work. So
Mm.
content again, it goes back to content. I remember I took
Mm.
subscription of Sony Live
Got it.
just to watch Scam. I swear, I just watched Scam, and after that,
Mm.
I
And I think they are advertising in the same way as well. कि ये show आ रहा है, तो आप subscription ले लो. Right.
the
And this is how
reason,
they
and
advertise
another
as
thing
well.
is why they keep on bringing new shows every Friday. It's just that these
Mm.
unloyal people who are there, who are not loyal to the net,
Right.
they stay put, they stay back. जहाँ पे if the
Mm.
audiences think that, oh, wait, I'm just wasting my money, then
Money.
so
Right. Right. Every
for a
time that.
big show like Game of Thrones comes in, everybody gets a subscription, and that's one of the
Mm.
reasons why they don't put a binge watch.
Right.
They do it for like 10 episodes. For 10 weeks, they're secured. For 10 weeks, they have a subscription. So that's
Right. Right.
how
Right.
even OTT platforms are also playing because they think that content can be. See, at this point in time, we made a show last year called That Cover Girl, and we Amazon picked it
Got.
up from us. It
Mm.
was the first Malaysian original,
Okay.
and it's in
Wow.
240 countries simultaneously. They did a 2 year deal
Mm.
with us, and it's doing great. It's on IMDb. It's 9.2 out of 10, which is like you heard of from a
Wow.
Malaysian show. But what it gave was an audience who's sitting in Colombia and watching a Malaysian show
Mm.
and giving a 5 star.
Mm.
So for some platforms, is also about, okay, we have this kind of content also. It's not about making money. It's about
Right.
making a statement.
Mm.
So like
Right.
we have
Mm.
all Karan Johar movies on Prime, or we have all Yash Chopra movies on Prime, or things. So that is also
Hmm.
another thing, that we have catalogs, we have libraries of all these good movies. So it's more about, attracting the audience. And then there are people, means there are people who subscribe for that kind
Hmm.
of content. With like Disney, I subscribe because of the Star Wars content. Because I'm a big fan of Star Wars. So some people
Hmm.
stay back for other reasons apart from not only just about subscription, because they always have this thing, okay, I want to watch that brand of film or that brand of director's film. There's a service called Movie. Movie has a different brand of films for cinephiles who
Hmm.
really like, Wong Kar-wai movies or Kubrick movies. Have so now is more genre based. Means that's how they have cultivated the audience, and those are the people who keep coming back for that kind of content. As well as you,
Got it. So basically, loyalty, right? Basically, loyalty is something that all these companies are looking for, put in
not
their
getting,
ads, right?
not getting
Kind
it.
of
Trust me.
people.
Right now is the most unloyal
Okay.
audience you will find anywhere in the world. They, Loyalty only comes in
Yeah.
once they either hook on to your library or they want to watch something
Hmm.
specific uh, on your platform. Otherwise, there's no loyalty anymore left for, like like I was telling you, right? At one point, I had 50 out of 50 shows
Hmm.
in 2002, 2003. Not anymore. Not anymore. Is the First of all,
Hmm.
there's so much of content out there, good content out there, and people have so much of choice.
Hmm.
It's like a buffet. There's so much of food there.
Right.
They
Right.
don't have to worry about one or two. You know,
No, that's what I mean. The question now lingers in my mind, saying that no, since there are no loyal viewership in on the TV on OTT platform, that's why these brands are moving to content creators for the ads for brand promotion. I mean, we'll come to that, but before that, I have one question. Since you touched upon the movie part, now we all know that Bollywood is growing, right? And all the regional movies in India, regional movie industries in India, I they call it as Tollywood. I don't know why they call it as Tollywood, but I believe this is like the entire industry, the film industry that growing together. But when we see a Hollywood movie share, right? I mean, I am not a technical person here. I mean, you must be knowing this. They have far superior quality of stories, I would say. They have good hook, right? And the technical part also seems strong. Let's say VFX and etc. etc. As we talk about as a viewer, right? So, what do you think that? Let's see. What do you think that uh, is the difference between the Bollywood kind of create the story we create, the technical part, and the Hollywood part? This is just as a curiosity out of
you,
because of a
you
viewer, right? Because
want
I
me
don't
to
know technical
surprise
part.
you?
Just asking you.
All these big movies, you
Please
say,
go
for
ahead.
example, Wolverine versus Deadpool versus Wolverine, and all the Marvel movies,
Right.
Star Wars movies, all of that. Where do you think the VFX happens?
Right. No
Hyderabad,
idea.
Chennai,
Absolutely.
Mumbai. You sit through the end credit. You
Seriously?
sit through the end credit. You will see at least 1,000 names from VFX studios based out of Hyderabad, Chennai, and Mumbai.
Oh
Even
wow.
you pick up
Okay.
any Marvel movie.
That's the crazy.
So all VFX is happening in
Hmm.
India. Prime Studios is doing. Double Negative is doing. Uh, Down south, there are so many studios which are doing. Once, first of all,
Hmm.
for Hollywood, it's cheaper. Second thing is they don't have to
Hmm.
pay, union fees and all that. So they make their own deals. And the work India does is subpar than anywhere. The problem is if a Hollywood gives them $10 an hour, the Indian companies
Hmm.
give them $2 an hour. I'm just giving you references.
Hmm.
So what
Right.
$2 an hour result you will see, and then $10 an hour result you will see. Why will I put my 6 months of hard
Got
work for $2 when I'm getting $10 an hour?
Hmm.
Our industry, first of all, our industry is huge and great technicians are working in our
Hmm.
industry. It's just that outsiders are paying more and they're doing greater, bigger stories.
Hmm.
And that
Got
was
you.
one of the reasons why there were so many Marvel movies coming out, Star Wars movies coming out at one point in time, like back to back, till people said, screw it, we don't want to watch it. And then TV series also. So going back, why can't we do like that? First of all, we have,
Right.
please take that thing out of your head that we don't have that kind of expertise. We have that kind of expertise. We have great talents, first of all.
Okay.
Second thing is, we have an army of people. Hollywood doesn't have so many people as much
Okay.
as we have in India. So next
Okay.
time you go to a theater, sit down and watch the end credit, and you will see some Ashok, some
I will. I
Rashid is
will.
sitting there, and they're doing it. And I always sit down and I feel very
I will.
proud that, oh
For
yes,
sure.
see, all Chennai boys are doing it. So
Right. So, what do you think? What is the one major? Sorry to cut you. Yeah. What do you think? What is the one major thing that
again,
separates
they have
these two industries?
clear career, as in clear, business path. Say for example, Marvel, Disney
Hmm.
Marvel, they know that they have an
Hmm.
IP called Star Wars. Star Wars has got like 200,
Okay.
300, 500 characters. And they have a story arc
Hmm.
that if I'm going to make one movie or one series, I can make so many spin offs.
Hmm.
If Marvel
Right.
has, and again, Disney, Marvel has so many characters. I have individual movies, I can
Hmm.
make at least 50 movies straight away. So my clear path for the next 10,
Bro.
15 years is done. So whether it's animation, whether it's live action, musical,
Hmm.
kids, horror, they have it. They have the IPs. We are
Hmm.
sitting on such amazing IPs like Mahabharata or Ramayana or our folk stories. We have
Right.
not never used it. We have never. Well, even if we
Hmm.
do 1/10 of what we have, trust me, means it's, and we spend money on doing that. You might have seen a
Hmm.
little bit of it in Kalki.
Got
You
it.
might have seen a little bit.
Hmm.
That's there.
Right.
These are the same guys
Yeah.
who are doing it. It's just that now people are looking
Hmm.
at our own IPs, our own, stories which have been there for centuries. Now looking at it, we can have a
Right.
bigger Marvel universe in India than Marvel itself. It's all also
Hmm.
about, how
Wonderful.
we can reach to the audiences, because now our audiences are also
Hmm.
sick and tired of watching superhero movies from overseas. They want to see their own characters. They want to
Right.
associate, with our own stories. So I think this is the right time. People are started working on towards
Hmm.
that, and hopefully in the next 5 years, 10 years, I think we will have our own universe.
No, we have seen a few movies that was created in south of India, like the Kalki, as you said. Then there was Bahubali. Or we have seen that kind of the quality of, I mean, the script, the story, the VFX. So I mean, definitely we are catching up. And in terms of like money being paid, I think this is something that a creator should. I mean, because as an Indian audience, we even don't want to pay to watch movies, right? I mean, what we do is we wait for the movies to come into the OTT platform on
Or
the
on
TV so
Telegram.
that we can watch it. Right? So
Or
even
on
we are not
Telegram.
spending. Or until so we wait for we don't want to pay. That's why those we do not see the magic on the screen, right? So because
Exactly.
money
So
has to come
the
from the
classic
viewers.
example is Love with the Ladies. It's a fantastic film. It's an
Mhm.
amazing film. Everybody is writing about it after
Right.
it came out on Netflix. But nobody went to the theater to watch it.
Mm.
It's our
Right. And I also remember one
Tumba.
movie, Tumbad. That mo- that was amazing movie. I didn't see it in the theater. I didn't see it in the movie hall. Like I saw it on the OTT, right? And it blew my mind. Like I mean, in India,
Exactly.
can they create
But
such
you know
a
what happened?
beautiful
They
movie?
re-released the movie like last month. And
Right.
when it came out,
Right.
they made around 3 crores. Means it was a flop in theater. They re-released it
Mm.
and they made 30 crores. So they were
Wow.
saying that, again, the audience also at this point of time, It's very precious with their money, there's hard-earned money. They just don't, because they get
Right.
taken in for a ride. They will be
Mm.
promised, oh, this is going to be the nice big thing, amazing this, amazing that. They spend so much of money, go to the theater and say, what the hell, man? If this is the kind of stuff I have to watch, I might as well I watch it at home, which I don't have to go, take the whole
Right.
family, buy tickets, buy popcorn, waste my time, parking, this, that. Half my day is gone. Might as well I just sit at home and
Right.
watch it if,
Right.
if it's just that bad. So they are also become very precious with their money because they don't want to waste their hard-earned money like that.
Great. So, I mean, I really want to touch upon one area which we haven't yet. There's a creator economy. We have been hearing this term creator economy all across the globe. That a lot of good creators are coming up. They create good short form content, right? And which are basically captivating a lot of attention for a lot of people across the globe, right? I mean, in India, we have such a lot of viewers for these influencers actually, and especially in North America as well. Now, how do you see the content form? Because from the TV, we kind of coming up to like OTT, and now there's a short form content, right? And so, how do you see the future of content creation from here
See,
onwards?
good content, long-form content is always going to be there. Means there will be movies in the theater,
Hmm.
there will be TV series or the TV shows, and there will be content on Instagram and TikTok.
Hmm.
So there are different
Hmm.
different mediums. Cinema is going to take
Right.
the biggest budget films to be made because that's an experience.
Um, Abid, I'll add to my question here. Sorry to interrupt you. Uh, I would really love to know in terms of brand promotion. Let's say initially we were more inclined to, let's say, TV, right? We moved to OTT platform, and now since the viewership of these short forms videos are so much that all the brands are also shifting towards
Yeah,
these influencer marketing, right?
I
So,
will. I will, I
I
will
mean, if
add.
you can also talk in that
So,
aspect,
like
how
he's
you see
saying,
as a
see,
future.
experience by
Right.
cinema as an experience. Go for that experience. You pay money
Hmm.
for that experience. You go for an IMAX movie.
Hmm.
You want that 7.1
Right.
sound, surround sound. You want that big screen. You just want to get immersed in that thing. Television is going to be there because it's
Right.
long form. You have to watch 8 to 10
Hmm.
episodes. You set aside that time and your mindset. Okay, I'm going to reserve my 10 hours for the series, and you get excited about that.
Hmm.
And then you have your
Right.
Instagram and your TikTok because that's your 15 second, 30 seconds. You scroll, 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 get your
Right.
dopamine, you get excited,
Right.
you get laugh, and small bit of laugh, and you move on. All three of them are
Hmm.
from a revenue perspective. Cinema has a level of revenue coming
Hmm.
in, huge level of revenue coming in if it's a good
Hmm.
movie. Television is again subscription model.
Right.
I'm talking about OTT or digital TV also subscription
Mhm.
as well as advertising. That money comes in.
Mm.
The reason
Mm.
why brands are now coming on social media is first of all instant gratification. I would say. So I
Right.
give, say for example, I give Bhuvan Bam, the 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 creator, I give him say
Mhm.
10 lakh rupees. He has follower of
Mhm.
50 lakhs. And out of those 50 lakhs, if 10 lakhs
Mhm.
watch it, my work is done. As in from an advertising perspective, awareness from an
Yeah, right.
awareness perspective.
Yeah.
But that used to happen from when it all started. That's one of the why everybody is
Mm.
uh, you know, on how many followers. They're way high on. I've got 5 million followers or 10 million followers, but that is
Right.
not
Right.
translating into sales. So,
Mm.
so
Right.
although there
You.
is engagement from a viewer perspective, but out of those
Mm.
10 lakh likes, have even 1,000 gone
Mm.
and bought the product. So that is where
Mm.
the problem is. Where now
Right.
every creator right now is every third reel they are making is with an advertiser, whether it's whether it's a toothpaste, whether it's
Mm.
insurance, whatever. They are. And because in India,
Mm.
apart from brand integration, there's no other way the creators are making money. That's what one of the reasons why
Right.
they push all of their audiences to YouTube. Because YouTube for that amount of
Mm.
subscription, that amount of viewership. And that's one of the reasons why all
Right.
your TikTok and all your Instagram influencers or creators are pushing
Mm.
all their audiences to YouTube for
YouTube.
vlogs with new brand, association. Because after a certain views, YouTube pays, which is in US is
Mm.
a different thing altogether. Yeah, in US, if you have so many followers and
Right.
so many likes, you get paid, or so many views, you get paid even on Instagram and
Right.
TikTok, which is not
Right.
the case in India.
Mm.
So again,
Right.
in India, even creators are finding it difficult to generate revenue, and that is why they every second
Mm.
reel is a brand association. Brands come on board and collaborate with these creators so that they can generate more awareness of their product, of their services. So
Got it.
from that perspective, yes, they're still spending it. Creators are making money. That's why they're making new reels. They're spending money on reels.
Mm.
And now there are agencies which are representing creators. We're taking them to different
Mm.
platforms. They're taking it to them to different advertisers. So now there's a whole ecosystem which is now there for creators. But from a platform perspective, YouTube is the only service at this point of time in India which gives you money to
Mm.
to create content.
So basically, advertisers are still going for the
Yeah.
movies, right? To put in the ad on the
Advertisers are
movies,
still going
right?
for television. Yeah, movies as little bit
Television.
here there.
Okay.
Means a Marvel or a Spider-Man, you will have a
Okay.
Zomato ad in there. But again,
Mm.
that
Mm.
is just from a brand association point of view, not from a sales perspective. Sales
Got it.
perspective is still television is still
Got it.
a traditional television is still generating uh, revenue. Yeah.
Awesome conversation. I mean, got to learn a lot from you. Now, one question, and I won't keep you waiting for long. One unfiltered advice that you can give to our audience who wants to create, I would say, wants to build their career in media, and now looking forward to have career as a producer, as a director. So, if you can give some
Uh,
advice to them.
I'll give you an example. What happened was I was in South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, and I was in one of the sessions with
Mm-hmm.
J.J. Abrams, the director
Mm-hmm.
of Star Wars,
Okay.
and
Mm-hmm.
he was talking about his journey. He started with an 8 millimeter camera, and he was shooting with his friends, and he was making small movies and stuff. And I said
Okay.
there was always a struggle to buy that film roll, to
Mm.
get that camera, to bring that film and
Mm.
cut that film and everything.
Right.
He then said that that is not the case anymore. He said that the studio is sitting in your pocket and
Mm.
this is your studio. He said, if you
Right.
have a little bit of creativity, your studio is sitting in your
Mm.
pocket. Go and make content, edit it yourself,
Mm.
publish it on YouTube, which is a distribution channel.
Internet. Right.
Music you can
Mm.
create, video wise you can shoot whatever your story is. He said, and you keep on doing it on a regular basis till somebody notices it. He said, oh, you do
Right.
such kind of good stuff. Why don't you come for us?
Right.
That was quite a great
Mm.
learning from me. I said, kids have got it so easy this at this point in time in their life that iPhone can be your whole
Right.
studio. And anyone who
Right.
has interest
Right.
in being a creative need to start building a portfolio of their
Mm.
own. Not worrying about somebody's going to come and pay them money, or somebody's going to come and tell them how to write a story. Make it. Just keep on making. Don't
Mm.
worry about the quality of it. Don't worry about how it's going to look and what people are going